Today's session, we are discussing about Android application development, and we'll be talking about some of the final year projects which the students can take up. How do we motivate students? Some of the latest trends which are going on in Android development, the latest trends in business as well as technology, how the mobile development market is going to move forward. These are some of the topics we'll be discussing in today's webinar. So I hope you guys find this session useful. So let us start. First of all, a brief overview of Monkfox. Monkfox is an education technology company. Our focus is to make undergraduate students employable. We conduct project-based technology workshops on recent technologies like big data, Android application development, iOS application development, data sciences, for civil engineering, Revit architecture, and various other programs for college students, which helps them getting better jobs. Technologies, we actually train these students not only on these latest techs but also on basic technologies, okay, fundamentals, because fundamentals form the basis of any job interview. We have trained over more than 15,000 students across the country in the past few years, and a lot of these students have got placed into reputed product companies and other master recruiters as well as service companies. A lot of our students pick their final year projects from the trainings that they have undergone. So this we teaching these kind of webinars where we can engage head of departments, principals to motivate their students, create their own final year projects and not to copy their final year projects. So this webinar primarily aims to motivate the students, the faculty, what are the kind of projects the students can do, and what are the technology trends that are going on is the purpose of this webinar. At any given point of time, if you have any questions, just ping me on the right hand side chat, and we will be picking those questions and answering them. So just an overview, what is Android? Android is a stack of software which includes Linux kernel, middleware, and key applications. So Android is nothing but it's an operating system. It's built on Linux kernel. It has some applications, some middleware. It is free to download. It is an open source system, so anybody, any student, faculty, enthusiast, anybody can write code and contribute to the Android operating system. You can download the Android operating system source code from GitHub and Google, and if you just go to Google and search for Android OS source code, you will get the links for downloading the whole source code. What we see here is basically a stack of the Android operating system. It consists of various layers, and there are various levels of softwares embedded in each layer. The bottommost layer being the Linux kernel layer, which involves your various drivers, the main operating system, the power management APIs, and all those things. On top of it are several libraries like you have the SQLite database, the WebKit, the FreeType. These APIs are used by more applications on top of them to actually control the database, control the cameras and other things. On top of that, you have the application framework, which allows you to manage your calls, your UI, your notifications, your cameras, and all those things. And on top of that are applications. So applications are the topmost layer, which are built on these three bottom layers. So this is the most common structure of uh, this is the most common structure of the Android operating system. We all are familiar with the Android versions recently. Uh, we have the latest version going on is Android N. Before that, it was Android M, which was Marshmallow, and prior, which was, I think, Marshmallow was version 6. N is version 7 of the Android, and that is what is the current Android versions. Any questions, anybody till now? Okay, let us then move forward. I gave a brief overview of what the Android operating system is. Now, let us look at some of the business trends of because business actually drives technology around the world. So, top business trends in Android applications. We have been seeing constantly new different types of apps which are coming onto the phones, and these apps are somewhere and somehow they are uh, building businesses. They are basically earning money, and we want to see where this trend is moving. So 2017 will be an year where small businesses will be developing mobile apps. So very small businesses, local businesses will be developing their apps and bringing it on to the Play Store. Location-based services will become more common. So uh, if you would have come across like Ola or Uber, these kind of apps, they use location-based service because they are basically trying to track where you are and provide you a service based on your location. Um, Please interrupt me if you do not understand a term or there is something which you feel is if I'm going fast or anything like that. Okay. Uh, Augmented reality and utility apps make a great couple. So augmented reality is like a lot of companies are working on augmented reality, and a lot of mobile applications which uh, complement this augmented reality are going to come in 2017. There are already a lot of them if you search for augmented reality. Um, Android instant apps will begin to emerge in 2017. So Android instant apps is nothing but right now, if you look at an average mobile phone, you have typically uh, 35 to 36 applications in an app in your mobile phone, and the problem is you have to constantly install newer applications if you want to use them. Android instant apps is nothing but it's a framework developed by Google which allows you to use the apps directly without actually installing them. So it's a very useful framework, and it's right now in beta, and it is going to be launched by the year end. Artificial intelligence, there are a lot of apps which have a lot of backend of artificial intelligence, and a lot of these are going to be launched in 2017. Internet of Things mobile applications. I think Internet of Things has been a buzz for quite some time now, and a lot of IoT application apps are already there on the Play Store, and more sophisticated apps are going to come. The revenue coming from mobile applications across the world gone has gone past $77 billion in 2016, so which is a phenomenal number. So that means apps are really driving um, an economic revolution across the world. Now, top technology trends in mobile development. In the last slide, we talked about the business trends. Uh, in this slide, we'll be talking more about the technology trends, how the technology is moving in the Android development market. Hybrid application development. So currently, one problem which developers face is when they develop an Android app, they have to develop an iOS app separately. So hybrid application development are frameworks which allow you to develop one app which can work on both uh, iOS and Android phones. So one of the trends which is going you will see in 2017. Anybody has any questions till now? Okay. Next is beacons integrated with GPS technology. Beacons are nothing but small signal emitters which are placed at malls and places. And how does it work? Is it as you enter the mall, these beacons send out and broadcast some messages, and depending on your location, these beacons suggest you the right kind of deals, the right kind of shopping experience, and those kind of things. So beacons are going to be more prominent. They're going to get integrated with Android applications more closely. Integrating apps with big data. A lot of these apps are generating a huge amount of data, and big data is the technology which has come up and which has got its expertise in handling this huge amounts of data. So integrating a lot of these apps with big data at the back end is another technology trend to watch for. Uh, Prioritized navigation. So you have I think this is kind of more technical, but I'll just give you a brief. Prioritized navigation is nothing but depending on your patterns, you basically navigate through an app, and the app constantly keeps itself changing based on how you navigate through the app, which is kind of new to the Android market. Control, track, manage, and analyze activity performed by drones. So drones, I think they are increasingly being used for medical purposes, for rescue purposes, of places where immediate help needs to be there. So drones are increasingly being used across the world. So controlling them, tracking them, analyzing their activities through mobile phones is another very important activity. Wearables, I think they are already in the market. You talk about uh, I think bracelets or wearables which are coming from Sony or Samsung, collecting their data to the mobile phone and uh, basically tracking your sleep patterns, tracking your walk activity. I think they are going to be the next one of the biggest things. The cloud-based mobile applications. A lot of these applications are still cloud-based, but uh, a lot of more applications which will go on the cloud. So cloud integrating with Android application development is going to be again a major trend. Payment apps, I think, along with Paytm, MobiKwik, a lot of these payment applications have come up in the market, and payment is going to become much more easier. And I think I don't know if you have seen Samsung Galaxy 8 payment gateway. So people are basically trying to find out newer ways to make payment easier using mobile application development. Any questions till now? Can somebody tell me, am I going too fast, too slow, or any feedback? Hello, can you guys ping me if we are going too fast? Can somebody ping me? Is the speed okay? Are you guys able to hear me? Okay. Uh, we'll resume the presentation. Okay. Okay. Um, now, now we have seen what is Android application development, the business trends, the technology trends. So why mobile application development? Why should somebody as a student or an enthusiast should do mobile development. So mobile is the platform for the future. I think laptops and computers have been largely replaced for a lot of things by mobile phones. So mobile is the future, and people are increasingly going to use mobile. Double-digit growth in worldwide smartphone ownership. So across the world, I think this everybody knows that across the world, uh, every year there is a double-digit percentage growth in the number of people who own the mobile phones. Now, so number of people owning the mobile phones has gone up drastically. The job market is hot. So currently there is so much revenue in the mobile application development market. Around the current market revenue share start are at $77 billion. So the revenue in the market is too high, and there are too many jobs. So Android, if you look at any company across the world, they need Android developers. So right now the Android development market is very hot. We need good developers from who have a knowledge of Android development platform and have created a couple of apps on their own. So in 2017, the DICE survey said that 60% of the recruiters are looking for Android app developers. So more than 60% of recruiters are looking for Android application developers. Salaries set to rise. So Android application developers actually get a decent starting salaries, and their growth on salaries is also too high if they perform well. So obviously, considering all these awesome factors, the students and faculties are all are very much interested to understand, to know, to learn Android application development. You can make a lot of money by creating Android apps which are useful. Now, just to highlight the importance of the final year project. So final year project is one of the most important things that a student does in his engineering. The final year projects, the student might not realize it, but a lot of these interviewers ask questions based on the final year projects. They ask you what you have done. They ask you the full design of the project that you have done. And a lot of your impression on the interviewer depends on the kind of project you have done and how do you explain it. So the idea of final year project is to pick up a project so that you can impress your interviewer. Hence, it becomes very important. Also, final year project is important because you need to get a degree. Most of the students do not do their projects on their own, and that clearly reflects on the placement interview. So when you're sitting in a placement interview and you have not developed the project on your own, you will not be able to answer all the questions. So it becomes, there is no shortcut to that. You cannot copy a project and answer the questions. Hence, it becomes very important that students choose their final year projects wisely and do it themselves. So hence, it really becomes very important that final year projects are done by the students themselves. They get proper mentorship and they develop the projects on their own instead of borrowing and copying the projects from somebody else. Any questions till now? Okay. Problems with the final year projects. So most of the students copy projects. Now, this is the problem which I've been hearing from a lot of faculty members whom I talk to. Students copy their projects, and the biggest reason why they do that is there's a fear of technology. They do not understand technology. They think that they are not made for technology, and there is a fear among them whether they will be able to do it or not, and they try to find shortcuts. Uh, for professors, it becomes difficult to identify the copied projects, considering there are so many projects across the which can be copied. So it becomes difficult for professors to identify which projects are being copied or which are not. Uh, Final year projects are very important from the job perspective, so they must be done by the student themselves. And lack of knowledge leads to lack of ideas. So since the students do not have exposure to Android development, it automatically leads to ideas. They don't get ideas of what to develop, how to develop, those kind of things. So these are some of the problems which the student face while developing final year projects. Okay, are you guys able to see the screen? I think there was some technical difficulty because of which the interruption. There was some interruption. So, keeping these problems in mind, Monkfox has come up with uh, a program which helps the final year students create their own final year projects. We enable students to learn the technology from scratch, and we enable students to build projects in the classroom itself. So, the Monkfox final year project program on Android can be done either in the classroom or even on the online mode. So some of the classes are delivered online and some of them are developed in the classroom. So students build their projects in the classroom itself. Students learn various technologies needed to build an Android project. So Android project to the cloud, how do you connect it to big data? These are some of the technologies which are used while building an Android app. The Android app project in the class. So they do it, they build these projects in the class, which gives them the confidence of the technology, the fear of technology is removed, and they are able to build bigger projects based on these projects when they are picking the final year projects. It becomes easy for students to pick up the final year projects not only on Android, but a lot of these technologies. So can be done with cloud, with big data, with web applications, with data science. So a student after undergoing this final year project program will not only learn about Android application development, but he will also learn about cloud. So he can pick up final project on cloud. He can pick up a final year project on big data or even data science. So considering the vast diversity of the kind of apps which are getting generated, the Android apps can be made with any of these things. And the students get the knowledge of all these technologies and they are able to pick any of one of them for creating their uh, any questions, anybody till now? Okay. So some of the apps which the students can build, these are some of the applications which we have developed, we have got them developed by our students in some of the final year project program classes. Bluetooth chatting without internet. So an app can be built with it where two students are chatting with each other without using an internet connection, but rather using a Bluetooth connection. Online water ordering app, um, online emergency services application, online blood bank, your city guide, table ordering system in restaurants, uh, Flipkart like websites, preferential news feed. Some of these websites, some of these applications are out there, but students can build these applications on their Android phones and can publish them on the Android store. Okay, this is a question which somebody asked us in the Google Sheets, and the question was, how do we as professors know whether the students have created a project on their own? So see, this is a big problem which the professors face, and I think one of the best solutions which I used to do when I was interviewing students for a job was to ask them to explain the project. So it has to be a one-to-one interaction. The faculty should call the student. They should ask them to explain the Android application on the board. Okay, they should ask some of these questions, might help you to determine. So if the student has created the project on their own, they will be seamlessly able to answer all the following questions, like what are the uses for this app, what was the development process, various modules which you have used, who has developed what. So if they are working in a team, so you can ask which part he was taking care, who are the other people who were involved in the project, and what were their parts in the project. Name some of the classes they used for the UI or the user interface. Ask them to write a simple DB query, which can be a fetching or an updating database query. If they're using camera, Bluetooth, or fingerprint scanner, ask them to explain the technology and Android APIs used. So these are some of the questions which can help you from the answers which the student gives. You can know whether the student has built the project on their own, or they have copied the project from somewhere. Another question which I got was, what is the way to upload release an app on the App Store? I think it's pretty simple. You have to go to play.google.com, sign in a developer agreement. It's just you have to agree to the developer agreement. Pay a registration fees. You need to pay a lifetime registration fees of $25, and that's enough. So once you pay a $25 fees, you are good to go, and you can publish your app on the Android Play Store. And some of the links which are mentioned here, you can go to the developer.android.com and developer.android.com Google Play index, which will tell you remaining steps of how your code should be compatible before it is uploaded to the Android app market, and a lot of these things. So you can go to the following links, and you can get a lot of information regarding this. So I think I'll just wait for any questions if anybody has. Any questions? Those who are listening to me, please ping me on the chat window. Those who are listening to the webinar, please ping me on the chat window. Okay. Okay. So if you want to conduct the summer or the placement final year project program, which is delivered by Monkfox in your campus, you can contact us on this number. Also, I would request you to like our Facebook page, which can be accessed at monkfox.edu. And there is a placement. Have a channel called Monkfox Placement Preparation Corner, where we keep publishing free content for students to view. And these are all, we try to discuss more and more interview questions, which are very useful for preparing for placement interviews and a lot of these jobs. So please subscribe to the channel, like the Facebook page, and if any one of you wants to do the Monkfox final year project program in your campus to enable your students to create their final year projects, please contact us on this number, or you can email us as well as on info@monkfox.com.